We are tracking here on Wion World this one. The judge orders extradition of fugitive Indian businessman Vijay Mallya. This is the big news we are tracking here on Wion World this one. The London court has agreed to extradite Vijay Mallya. So round one goes to Indian government and Indian investigating agencies. It's a big breakthrough in the $1.2 billion bank fraud case in which Vijay Mallya is wanted in India. Meanwhile, we'll try to get you all the latest from London from our correspondent Mandy Clark. But these are latest visuals coming to you from London of Vijay Mallya inside the court in London, which has just delivered the verdict to extradite Vijay Mallya to India. Remember, this is only the first step in a long, drawn-out process which might take months and months before it eventually gets anywhere. But for the moment, as I said, it is a big breakthrough for the Indian government and the Indian investigating agencies. Remember, only a week ago, India sought the extradition of Christian Mishral from the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, in the Augusta-Westland helicopter scam case. He is now in CBI custody in New Delhi as we speak. And Vijay Mallya's is the second success on the part of the Indian government and the Indian agencies. So as I said, we'll try to get you all the latest from Vion's very own Mandy Clark, who's been tracking this case from the very beginning. It's been more than a year since the case has been heard by a court in London. And in the interim, we've heard many comments from Vijay Mallya, including most recently a tweet in which he claims to have made an offer of settlement. And he has agreed to pay 100% of the principal amount to the banks. But all that has come to naught, with the London court agreeing to extradite Vijay Mallya to India, and that has come as a shot in the arm for India's premier investigating agency, the CBI, or the Central Bureau of Investigation. All right, so these are live visuals from outside the London court, and we might be able to catch the first glimpse of Vijay Mallya, who might make his initial remarks after the verdict came out. And we'll get you all the latest from Vion's very own Mandy Clark, who is standing by outside the court in London as we speak. All right, so as we watch these visuals from earlier in the day, to recap for the benefit of viewers who might just be tuning into Wion World is one: a London court has agreed to extradite Vijay Mallya, an absconding Indian businessman, to India in the $1.2 billion bank fraud case. It is a big breakthrough for India's premier investigating agency, the Central Bureau of Investigation, or the CBI, which only a week ago extradited Christian Mishral in another case, and that was to do with the Augusta-Westland helicopter scam case, in which he was brought to India from the United Arab Emirates. So this is the second big success for the Indian investigating agencies. All right, I'm told Vion's Mandy Clark will be with us momentarily. All right, I'm told we finally managed to establish that link with Mandy outside the court in London. Mandy, walk us through what happened inside the court. How did Mallya react to the verdict, allowing him to extradite him to India?
It was quite surprised. The judge came with delay by nearly 2 hours. It took quite a while, and everyone was waiting around for an awfully long time. She came in and she was very matter-of-fact. She said, "I'm ordering extradition." He remained fairly stony-faced throughout. There was an audible gasp in the public gallery. I don't think anyone expected it to be so matter-of-factly delivered, almost the first things that came out of her mouth. She then went through part of her judgment, explaining her reasons why she had come to that decision. There was some wordage that was quite prolific. She described she doesn't believe that the banks were part of a larger conspiracy, that perhaps they were dazzled by this bejeweled playboy. That's how she described him. So it was quite a colorful verdict that she provided. Of course, she is going to send her decision to the Home Secretary. In all likelihood, the Home Secretary will approve it, but in all likelihood, Mallya will appeal the case. But certainly he remained stony-faced throughout, and most of the courtroom seemed quite surprised about how it was delivered.
Mandy, where is Vijay Mallya now? I mean, what was his demeanor like when the judge was reading out or delivering the verdict? Has he responded to or reacted to the verdict just yet?
Well, it's funny you should ask. We are there's been an awfully large media interest. We are all gathered outside the courthouse. We are waiting for him to come out. And every time we've been covering the media has been covering this court case for the last year, and every time he does genuinely shortly appear after the case and give us his thoughts of how the case is going, he's notable in really making the media wait. So we are just waiting for him to come and talk to us for his reaction to the verdict. Certainly, he didn't show any emotion in court at the time when he did deliver it.
Indeed. I want to come to you, Mandy, one more time before I let you go. I mean, round one clearly goes to Indian government and Indian agencies in becoming successful in getting the London court to allow him to extradite to India. But this, at the end of the day, remains a political decision. The matter now goes to the Home Secretary of the UK government. What if, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, what if the Home Secretary does not act on the court's verdict allowing him to be extradited to India? What happens then?
That would be enormously surprising. Really, this is a rubber stamping process. It's 9 times, it would be incredibly unusual for the Home Secretary not to do so. That would imply that there was the judgment was somehow imbalanced or there was corruption in the court. That will not happen. The Home Secretary will approve this, especially because they really want to show the separation between the political structure and the judgment. So if it happens, I think it would cause massive havoc and a lot of questions in politics. Certainly it's in the UK government's interest to facilitate this extradition because they have faced numerous meetings with Indian officials about the case specifically. So I think the court case the verdict will be welcomed by politicians, where India is a very important friend, especially in terms of Brexit. When they're looking to make more trade deals, anything that helps facilitate that relationship will all likelihood be welcome. So we can expect the Home Secretary to approve it, but we can also expect an appeal.
Right. So as Mandy waits outside the London courthouse to see and hear Vijay Mallya give his reaction to the court verdict. But just recap what he told us momentarily. She says the Home Secretary of the UK government can be expected to rubber stamp the court judgment, and there should be no surprises that Vijay Mallya will not be allowed to extradite to India. So that's the one big takeaway from all this, that the UK Home Secretary will rubber stamp the court verdict. But at the same time, Vijay Mallya has another chance to appeal against the court order allowing him to be extradited to India. All right, I'm told we have some more information on the extradition cases that have surfaced in recent times.